Virginia's a good team. Yeah.
All right.
I think we were very evenly matched. I think it was that's feasible. I don't know if you have that would take it. I don't know if I do that. I told me that. It's all like that.
like to utilize our forums at this time?
Hey, I just wanted to introduce myself. I'm Lauren Urban. I'm serving this year as the Executive Director of Elections. I just wanted to offer myself as a resource and a sounding board. If you have any legislation and ideas regarding elections, I'd love for you. Feel free to come talk to me. I can kind of give you an idea of how e-council and how e-board might implement that, how they might look at it. So I just want to be here as a resource for all of you. So feel free to contact me. You can get my information through Carlos. That's about it.
All right, would anybody else like to utilize the forum? Cool. So now we're going to move into roll call. So senators, please grab your eye clickers and click A. You know, second to do that. Oh, hey, yeah, this is William Tapscott. So at the moment, that's not so kind of getting a rundown with the technician at the moment. So y'all want to welcome and introduce yourself to him at any time. That'd be appreciated. Yeah, everybody good? We good with that? All right. All right, now we're going to move to reports of officers. Starting with Hunter.
I got two quick things real quick. One, we still have all ring ambassador applications that are open. They're open until Friday at 9 a.m. Again, that is a paid position. It's really not that much time. A meeting every 2 weeks, and then you work the table, the ring table, every ring week, and that's twice a year. And then also, James and I are working with BNF, and we're going to start getting budgets and the templates for the budgets. Those are going to be sent out within the next month, so the SAOs can start budgeting, and we can get that BNF process rolling. So just want to give you all those two quick updates. Thank you all.
Now that real quick, the minutes were sent out electronically. Did anybody see any corrections or issues with those? No. Okay, cool. Seeing none, they're approved and corrected. So now, Julianne, if you want to come up.
Hello. So first I want to remind you all that Safety Week is a week from today, so it's next Monday after Senate. Yeah, hey, can I get my Safety Walk team captains to raise their hands? Woo! Great. If anybody else, we need one to fill that spot. If anybody else could do that as well, that'd be great. Just let me know. Carlos soon. For that, please bring your change of clothes into the
opportunity to interact with your constituents, so that was really cool. So today, you guys gathered feedback for 2.5 hours on Ely concourse outside the Cosin buildings, Louder and Shelby, and then inside of Haley by the bookstore. And in those 2.5 hours, you gathered 30 legitimate Auburn Answers responses, which is really great for that short period of time. And so just a breakdown of those, where there were 3 for academics, 11 for parking, transit, and the safety that goes with that, 11 for dining, 2 for facilities, and 3 that fell into the other category. So another thing I want to add on, if you guys are ever wanting to have just special Congress hours outside of your own buildings or on a location on campus, please let me know. And I'd love to let you use the Auburn Answers Live booth. We paid a lot of money for it, so we want it to be used as much as possible. So you can, someone from your delegation to the school can email me or email Carlos, and we'll find a way to get that to you and show you how to set it up and everything. But yeah, thank you guys so much. Have a good night.
Yeah, this is on your mind fresh. I just want to reiterate how much Maggie said thank you for all helping out. That could, and for the future references, if we do this again, or when we do this again, we'll also have like schools council involved, so you'll have more help with that. So it'll look a lot easier to be in feedback with multiple people. But yeah, that's that. So thank y'all. Now we'll move to reports of colleges, starting with at large.
Not at large, so not much really going on over here. We are all working on time to like get together and do a whiteboard conference hour because things have been really done in the past, and we did it again. So about it.
Agriculture.
Hawkins Agriculture. So this week we have ag council listed the positions, and the candidates are campaigning, and then elections will be next Tuesday. So I'm really excited to get to work with them. Maybe, yeah, that's all.
Business.
City business. Just kind of starting off again, want to congratulate our new executive society. They're going to do a great job representing the College of Business. More importantly, Auburn University as a whole. I'd like to also shout out the construction crews for keeping up the great work as always. Got a lot of the sidewalks open back up, which is really nice. You'll also see, I know, you'll also see the coolest sign on Auburn University's campus, besides the main Auburn University sign, but Raymond J. Harbert College of Business. So, you know, it's just pretty incredible. So when you're walking by, just realize, wow, maybe I should have been a business major. Just kidding. But again, be careful out there. Construction's almost done. Really working hard. Thank y'all.
Patsy.
Rutland, Kenzie. If y'all could just do me a favor, remind any friends that y'all have or roommates or anything in building science. So we're having our awards banquet April 18th. I believe that tonight is the last night to RSVP for. They should have gotten an email about it and everything like that. And if they're looking for like a way to get involved in building science or a free dinner, that's a great way to do that.
COSAM.
Taylor, Sam, so this week is like our student recognition week, so we're having multiple banquets and awards ceremonies for all of our students where they can actually meet their donors that are funding their education here at Auburn. So it's a super cool experience. If you want to learn more about setting that up in your college, just give me a shout and I'll love to talk to you about it.
All right, education. If y'all want to stand up, we're going to get you sworn in. Yeah, just give us a second.
Guys, we're on the SGA Code of Laws. If you guys will raise your right hand and repeat after me. I do solemnly promise
I do solemnly promise
to support the Constitution and the laws
to support the Constitution and the laws
of the Student Government Association of Auburn University
of the Student Government Association of Auburn University
and to perform the duties of my office
and to perform the duties of my office
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Did y'all want to stand up and maybe introduce yourself or say anything, any updates or any goals or anything in mind?
Yes, we don't have a report as right now.
Okay, cool.
Unless, did you want to say something? Okay, yeah, we can
If you guys didn't know last time, I'm Annie.
Yeah, so just make sure we got them feeling welcome and reach out to them and introduce yourself. I'm excited to have them in. All right, cool. Moving on to engineering.
Kramer Engineering. Last Tuesday, we had a Q&A with Dean Roberts, which was really good. We got an update on the Engineering Student Center. Doors should be open July for staff to move in and August for students. So, James, if the business thing doesn't work out, we got a new building for engineering as well. Part of what we were discussing was a way to kind of have a hub for all of the tutoring services that are offered. And so I don't know in your college if there are different tutoring services that overlap, but that's something we have a lot of. And so that's something we're going to be meeting with Dean Roberts on as we move into the new building, seeing what the Engineering Student Services Tutoring Center will look like, working more on not only promoting the College of Engineering's tutoring services, but other ones offered by the university.
All right, forestry and wildlife.
Langley, Forestry and Wildlife. So as most of you guys probably know, this Saturday, April 13th is A-Day, and the Auburn University Raptor Center is really excited to be holding a raptor presentation in the lobby of the Forestry and Wildlife building before the game. The doors will be opening at 10 a.m. There are 200 spots available for entry, $5 tickets at the door. All the money goes to rehabilitation and preservation for all the raptors and birds of prey that they have at the Raptor Center. Yes, and so if you've ever been interested in birds of prey or big raptors, there's going to be some pretty awesome birds there. So tell your friends, and I hope to see you there. War Eagle.
War Eagle. High school. Human sciences.
Huntley Human Sciences. So I mentioned this last week, but our College of Human Sciences ambassadors applications are live. I'll actually be going to a couple of classes this week to talk to students in human sciences about this opportunity. Those applications are going to close on Friday at 4:45 p.m. So if you have any friends in human sciences, I would highly encourage you to apply.
Liberal arts.
King Liberal Arts. We are conducting interviews this Wednesday and Thursday to fill our schools council positions. So we're excited to welcome new people to our team, and those selections should be out by Friday night.
All right, nursing.
Problem nursing. So a couple of things today. This Friday, April 12th, the School of Nursing is having an open house for parents and alumni and students and even non-students who are just really interested in our building. It's beautiful. They're going to be doing some tours of it. You're going to be able to get your questions answered by people who work there and also students who are going there right now. Another thing, last Friday I met with my advisor through the nursing school, and he's really excited. He wants me to tell all of y'all that there's going to be some road work being done this summer out in front of the nursing school on South Donahue, kind of where that gravel parking lot is near the Red Barn. So they're going to be slowing it down out there. I think that there's been a lot of issues with people crossing. So they're just going to be doing some stuff out there this summer, so come look out for that if you're going to be here. Tell your constituents it's going to be an obstacle for some people. And then also another really exciting thing is that we spoke on Friday, and another thing that we really want to do this year is send out a newsletter to all pre-nursing and nursing students. So tell your constituents or your friends to be on the lookout for that. It'll be starting out in August, and we're going to have student and faculty spotlights. So really excited for that.
All right, pharmacy.
KPC Pharmacy. So we did our first early admission program interviews last week with pharmacy school. So this is where high school students and up to sophomores and undergrad can apply to pharmacy school with early admittance, pending they do make certain grades and do certain things for us. Also, we met with our school's council. We met with our Dean Hansen this week, and it was great. We got to see Keys, and he was really nice. That's it, I think.
All right, now moving to committee reports, starting with academic affairs.
Patel Engineering. So our team has worked really hard on some goals that we've created for this year. And one thing that we realized before we take this to any administration or anyone like that is that we need to see feedback for these things. So kind of like we did with the student center thing, I'm gonna have a couple of topics, and if you have any concerns, any questions that you want us to take back, just raise your hand and we'll get them written down. So the first one's gonna be about printing. So does anyone have any concerns or anything about printing as far as their school or college goes? Printing's great. Y'all love printing. Hey, dude.
I will just say, like, whenever printers are out of paper, out of toner, like, I don't know where to go to, like, get that fixed. So, like, even if there's just, like, information about the printer, like, hey, call this number, like, that'd be awesome.
Okay, anything else? Okay, now the next one is, oh, yes, sit down.
Sorry, but like a lot of times when like you have students or something and they go around and ask like, hey, like how does the printer work or something, usually people that are working there like in the village or in Terrell or whatever, they don't usually know, like the people working there don't know how to operate that. So it would be nice like if, you know, someone went there and told them like, hey, this is what students should do so that they can approach
So
them.
kind of like printer training?
Kind of, yeah.
So to say. Okay.
So I don't use typing that often, but a lot of my friends have said that very often they'll go to print in the student center and they're either like not working or like they don't feel like there's enough to accommodate as many students. That's just real.
So not working and not enough.
And a lot of the printers, like I know particularly in the student center, like you can print as many pieces of paper as you want, but there's no way to staple them. So I don't know if it could be like a stapler on a chain or something. Like that. Personally, I would usually count those off if it's not stapled. So.
Anyone else on printing?
Maybe a whole printer too.
Does that mean we got to change as well? Yeah.
Also, with the older printers that are not the debit card ones, they're a little hard to use with the Tiger card. I've had a lot of problems with them not swiping or not scanning them, and it's not easy to understand how they work, really.
Okay. Is there any specific locations for that?
Specifically in the Learning Resource Center in Haley. And also on the 3rd floor of the Student Center near the Invalid Suite.
The ones that don't have a screen on them?
Yes.
Okay. Anything else on printing? Awesome, that was great. So the next one's going to be Scantron machines. Anyone have anything on Scantron machines?
Probably just like more than one louder. If you like scatter around, like there's one like in your grade back part, louder that just gets super congested because you have those two massive classrooms back there, and if you have like a test going on, it could be 50 people trying to get one in 15 minutes.
Okay. And here's a question: is there any college that doesn't have one that y'all might think would be beneficial to have?
We don't even know what a Scantron machine is.
Oh.
Yeah, we've never heard of a Scantron machine.
So more Scantron machines. So the Scantron machine is kind of
What is it?
So the Scantron machine is kind of like the vending machine for Scantrons. So instead of going to the bookstore, hey, did you probably use one?
So it's like a cabinet with a computer on top of it, and you go and you pick if you need a blue or green Scantron, you swipe your Tiger card, and it just takes it right out of your Tiger card window, and then it prints it out the side. It takes like 10 seconds if nobody's there. Like Sam said, sometimes there can be like 50 people there. So, what I've heard is that Louder's the only place that has them, which is crazy to me. And we determined that there should be them in every college. They use the Scantrons.
They just recently moved it because of construction, and you walk in the front doors of Louder, take a left into the hallway, and it's right there.
So
They should have them in the dining halls too.
we're gonna need feedback on it, and we're gonna try to take this to administration, but it's gonna be changes to dead days and final schedule. Any opinions? Yeah, James.
I would argue that as of right now, there are no dead days in the schedule because it's always a weekend. But, yeah, more dead days.
Actual dead days.
Just as long as they don't lengthen school.
Well, the calendars are made so far out, and like the calendars are really hard to like handle. And it's not like, I know it's frustrating that we don't have dead days, but I was in the calendars committee this past year, and like there's really like not a good way to do it unless we want to sacrifice like part of Thanksgiving break or part of spring break or like ending later or starting sooner. And so it's just kind of like, not to say that it's great, because I know that it's not, but there's not much that can be done about it unless it's like in 3 years out.
And
So,
that's conversations that we can start now, just so looking forward to future students. Maybe if we think that as a student body it needs to be changed, hopefully 3 years from now it will change. And of course, we can't just randomly add dead days. They're going to be taken from somewhere. Like, they're not going to shorten the instructional time for the school. So keeping that in mind, is there anything else?
When you're like talking about dead days, are you referring to days like that aren't testable, but you still like go to class and like have
No
like
class.
review days? Okay, no
Just
class.
no class. Like, dead days are study days.
That was one thing that like I was thinking about is like the week before, like say like there's not grade assignments, not tests, but it's like a review and everything. So like you still have class, because I know that like lots of people, if they don't have class, are just not going to study. They'll just do something else. But if you still have class, but not necessarily like tests that you're having to study for, but like time to review like with the professor, I feel like that's 10%.
No, is there already something in place where they're not supposed to? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, so there's been a conversation for the past 4 to 5 years in SGA, which is a great conversation. There's a lot of different factors to it that you guys are all identifying. So it is two different conversations, whether you're talking about dead days or whether you're talking about finals week. What percentage of your grade you can be assessed during that last week before finals. The university does have somewhat of a policy in place that has been questioned as to what its enforcement has looked like in the past. And that's been an ongoing conversation between SGA executive officers and the provost office over the past couple of years, and how we implement that, and how you hold professors accountable for that. We know it's a big problem. Our provost office has traditionally recognized that as an issue that we need to think through. And so it's a continuing conversation. The obstacle that we do keep running into, as was mentioned, is 6 or 7 years ago, or whenever it was, SGA successfully advocated to get a fall break. Then the next year, all of a sudden, we're advocating to also get dead days. And then we're advocating, and it goes on, and like it's been mentioned, there's got to be some give and take in there. And when we've brought this question up the past couple of years, the resounding feedback has been, no, we want to keep our fall break, and no, we want to keep our full Thanksgiving week. And a lot of it is going to end it there. But it's an ongoing conversation.
To echo what Brad and Caroline said, like we looked at other schools that do this. For example, like the University of Tennessee, they finish on a Wednesday and then start like on the next Monday, so they have 2. But they also don't get off until Wednesday of Thanksgiving break. And literally every school that does have the dead days has less of a break, whether it's Thanksgiving or they go longer this semester. So like Brad said and Caroline said, you have to keep that in mind when you're talking about it.
Is there a hard deadline at either of the semesters as far as eating into potentially Christmas break and
The
summer
biggest
break?
question is the number of class days. They've got to meet a certain amount of class days. So it's not that you have to start by such and such day, you have to end by such and such day. But the number of class days is what matters.
We didn't look at very many schools, so yes, the only schools we looked at were probably just schools in the Southeast.
We're going to be doing a friendly benchmark.
Yeah.
It's not something we look at schools similar size and things like that.
This has only been like a year's worth of conversation.
Okay, so one last question.
I just want to make sure I'm understanding this correctly. So it's not looking like we can get dead days, but there is like supposedly a policy in place where they're not allowed to test us during that week, but it's just not enforced.
Enforcement is big and questionable. And that's the one thing we're gonna get further student feedback and kind of see how it's been enforced, and look into that a little bit.
And what the language of that policy is.
So one last thing on this is, I know calendar scheduling has been a big topic on this. So raise your hand if you would be willing to get 2 dead days if your summer was cut short 2 days.
Would it be possible to take like a Christmas break day and summer break day or something like that?
Yeah, so this is all just preliminary talk. So I'm just trying to get feedback. That way we know what to go to faculty and staff and administration with. You don't want to really just go in there without getting student feedback. So we're going to be doing a lot more feedback. Like we're not going to administration anytime soon.
Just one more comment on that. It's not just that you get the number of days and we can just easily shift it however we want. There's so many factors at play, like when students can move into dorms and when sorority recruitment is, and when all these different things that happen at the beginning of the year are, and how they fall with the weekend and what's convenient for families. That it's obviously easier for a family typically to move somebody over a weekend instead of in the middle of the week when they need to be at work. Tons of factors at play that we need to think about before we go speak to the administrators saying this is what we want. So let's make sure we're doing that.
Yeah. So thank y'all for all that feedback. I know that y'all are just part of the student body, but I wanted to get started with the feedback here, and then I know our committee is going to be working with the outreach team to try to get the full student feedback from the student body. So we'll be continuing with all these things, plus more of the goals that we've set. So thank y'all.
Great job. Now we'll move to budget and finance.
Sadie Business. Had a great meeting Friday morning with the team, and really worked on a lot of, as of right now, really just educating ourselves amongst the committee members so that we can go and educate our fellow senators, our fellow SAP student activity portfolio treasurers, and all people that are hoping to gain funding through the student activity fee. And as of right now, as you heard Hunter say a little earlier, really working so that we can get initial budgets set up. So we get those sometime during the month of May, so that we can get the ball rolling, get everything moving, so that we can have the best possible setup as possible for the hearings in around September. And we're also assigning our members to their prospective SAPs as well. And we're also gathering a contact list as of right now for the new treasurers amongst the SAPs that we represent. And we'll let you know where each senator on the committee's place so that you know who to get into contact with. If you might have questions about, let's say, SGA's budget or UPC's budget and so on and so forth. We're meeting this Thursday, 5 o'clock, student involvement suite. I hope to see some of y'all there. We're going to continue educating ourselves so that we can continue to serve in this capacity as best as we can.
Code laws.
Or liberal arts. So we meet again just 7 a.m. in the involvement suite on Wednesday mornings. We've been going through the reading plan, and it's been really beneficial. If any of y'all want that, please just shoot me an email. I'd be happy to send it to you. It breaks it down pretty easily and like readable. It's like not overwhelming. And next week and the weeks after that, we're going to have a scheduled plan for some code education, which I think will be really fun and exciting, hopefully. So that's what we got.
All right, inclusion and diversity.
Osmond Sam. So we had a great meeting this week. We're just waiting to hear back from Heather Dawson, who's the AVP of Community Relations, so she can get us in touch with the people that we need to reach out to make sure that we're representing everyone on campus. And I mentioned last week, if you thought of anyone that SGA is not doing the best job of representing, does anybody have anyone in mind, any organizations or people? Cool. If not, or if you think of some later, just let me know. Thank you.
All right,
Also, I want to congratulate Annie Brooms, who is our newest member of the Student Affairs Committee. Congratulations. Now moving into my Greek report. Tomorrow from 6 to 8 is Greek Sing. Everyone, if I show of hands, who is in Greek Sing? Oh yeah, let's come out and support our fellow senators. And yeah, poor penmanship like myself. Thursday is Amazing Grace. It takes place at 7 p.m. And I don't have the time for when the Black People Meet will take place, but
6 to 8.
6 to 8. Thank you so much. And all the proceeds that we receive from Greek Week are going to help fund that Legacy Plaza. So please come out and support the Greek community, and let's build that Legacy Plaza. Thank y'all so much.
All right, appreciate it. Executive Committee.
Huntley, Human Sciences, hate I always have to call out Kakari every week, but that is just how the cards are falling for me. Reminder about office hours, I will be checking the binder after Senate. What time is it now? Like after we get out, I'm going to give you about like 10 minutes to fill out that Google form for your college office hour if you haven't done that already. So be sure to fill that out so you don't like get a third of an absence for this week. Make sure you're going to an executive committee meeting. We only have 3 left for this semester. They're going to be Thursdays at 7:30 p.m. This week we're in conference room B. And it kind of alternates each week. So B this week, A next week, B next week. It's pretty easy to remember. So please come out to those meetings. We don't want everybody at the meeting at the very last meeting of the semester. So make sure you're getting that executive committee attendance in. Julianne already said this earlier. Don't forget next week safety walk counts as your involvement on this hour. So keep that in mind. Thank you. Somebody's excited about safety walk. Somebody asked in academic affairs about creating a calendar for like the remainder throughout the fall. So like meeting times, exec committee times, like all this other stuff. So I'll be working on that to hopefully get that out to y'all by the end of the semester. So y'all will have all those dates going into the fall. So you kind of stuff with that. Last thing, I don't know if y'all seen in the queue, but we have like a space where we listed like our senators, their contact information, as well as legislation we have coming up. So I'm gonna like update that every week. So if you ever want to point your constituents in our direction of the Senate queue, so they can see like what's on the docket that will be passing in the coming weeks, that will be updated every week. So just to keep y'all aware about that.
All right, thank you. So now we'll move into reports of liaisons for the BSC. All right, student veterans. ISO. Housing.
We got a couple of announcements. So it's just like updates to keep you guys on what's happening with housing. We're interviewing a couple of the summer positions for the RAs, so that's kind of exciting. For the incoming RAs, we have their reveal on Friday on Cater Lawn. If you guys want to come, that'd be cute. That was, sorry. And then the most exciting one of all, housing has listened to a lot of complaints that residents and RAs have made about how strict the rules are on residents and how we try to be more lenient with them, you know, to allow them room to grow and stuff. And they agreed, and they're trying to like, kind of like emotional support. They're teaching RAs how to be, not teaching, but rather training RAs to be more like sympathetic with residents. So I thought that was cool. But yeah, thank you.
All right, honors.
So we have an event this week. It's called Cater Porch Talks, and it will be with Lieutenant General Ronald Burgess. He's the COO of Auburn, so that will be pretty cool. You should tell your constituents about that. We also have committee chair positions open for the Honors Congress. So also inform your constituents who are members of the Honors College that we're having that. That's open to all members of the Honors College.
What time is General Burgess
Sorry,
speaking and what
it
day?
is April 10th at 3 p.m., so this Wednesday. Thank you.
All right. Thank y'all for that. So next in order of current orders of business, we have none. So now we will move into future orders of business.
Well, I guess I'm calling the bills. Okay, guys. TSSB 19041501, 2019-2020 SGA Cabinet confirmations. SSB 19041502.
All right, this brought to you by Senator Highland.
Highland Human Sciences. So kind of give you a brief history of why this was written. So I realized last year, sitting in this seat, that per the code, every school's council is required to have a constitution, and my school's council did not have one. So then I kind of like did some digging, did some research. Nobody had written one in the past, so I wrote up a constitution for our school's council in particular. It does kind of get a little tricky if you read it because I'm referring to other constitutions, as we do oversee the College of Human Sciences and Bachelor's program as a school's council. So if you have any questions like about this bill throughout the week, like please just shoot me an email. I look forward to discussing next week.
All right, so, is there any comments on that? Sound good? Perfect. So now I'm gonna move to announcements. Pearson was gonna do something with benchmarking, but he can't make it right now. So we'll go over that later. But one thing I do want to say, a couple on my announcements now. Well, first, Senator Holland, do you have any other announcements in terms of that committee? Okay, cool. So with my announcements, I want to go and just give some updates. So I know how I told all y'all next week we'll be taking pictures because we thought it was going to be bad weather, but it wasn't. So we'll just move that to next week. So get here at 7, like planned for the same thing that we're going to do this week. Just professional, of course. We'll take a big group and then individual headshots, and we'll have that taken care of. Also, Wednesday, April 10th, 4 to 5 in Student Center 2326. That's how I told you I was going to have the schools council orientation. So if you want to go out there and show your face, meet with them, that'd be very important to them, I'm sure. So we can go and establish communication and collaboration. And another thing I want to talk about, so last exec committee, we had some questions asked by some senators. So it was like maybe a solid 10 or so. So I'm working on those, just some answers. What I did was go and go over a couple right now. I sent you like it said Senate questions in that email. I sent you all those materials now. Yeah, that's cool. So I'm gonna just go over a couple of those. But while he's doing that, also, we're having the last group of people take the Senate test tomorrow. So then those will be done soon as well. You'll get your grade. I'm like a teacher. You'll get your grades back. So I'm not going to go over all like the 10 questions like I said before, but I'm going to go over a couple of them, just some answers. Hopefully, yeah. All right, so one of the questions was, what has been the most effective way to get student feedback? Of course, thank you all again. Like I said, the Auburn Answers Live was good. But one general thing is to not just wait on them, but go out and search any questions that they may have and give them the answers. So go to these students, go to areas that are highly populated, go to dining halls, walk around, go to Chick-fil-A. Don't just, Auburn Answers is great and we're waiting on that to get their feedback. But a lot of students may just want to complain and not have the issues, not address it. So go to them as much as possible. Next question I have, well, what are some resolutions that have been passed and worked on over the past couple of years? So I like this one a lot because it's giving you more of an idea of what we can do throughout the Senate. So there's just a couple examples right here, but athletic tickets, this was fall in February 15th, 2016. So this was what supported checking photo IDs at football games to make sure the student section had only students of Auburn in their dress. I'm just giving you examples of how much influence you can have on campus. Another thing, dining. So now, it's cool to see this stuff a couple years ago, and now while we're here, we saw it come to fruition. So this was with, Mel Street Classroom getting Panera Bread in there. So yeah, it may not happen when you're here, but this is just stuff that you can see what happened for research, some of the ideas they had. And Einstein's, which was not there before, is now in the Haley lobby. So that was one thing that was cool. Game day parking. So recommended postponing the current RV parking time in the Coliseum lot to allow students with class to park there later on Fridays before game days. So that was an issue, but that was something where a lot of students had problems with trying to make sure they were not getting ticketed and towed. So just issues with that, working with that area. Next is LEED certified buildings. LEED stands for Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design. So basically like sustainability efforts, making sure our new buildings that were being built were working for the betterment of our safety and our awareness around campus. So So this said, recommends that future and renovated buildings on Auburn's campus be LEED certified for environmental and sustainability performance. And all these resolutions are, it's a ton of research, and like this is a really paraphrased version of what the actual legislation said. But yeah, if you ever have questions, I have these actual files I can show you. Next was pre-finals week learning assessment. So we kind of talked about a little bit of this other stuff, which is why it was a coincidence that it came up. But this proposed a reduction of significant tests and quizzes during the last 5 instructional days of the semester as students seek to receive feedback on late semester tests before final exams. So as you're doing this research right now, Senator Patel, you don't know, this was in February, someone's birthday. It was 2017. And so yeah, you don't know what can happen in 2 years, what'll be the outcome of that. Last thing, green dot, some of y'all probably know, they might have come to talk to your class, but the green dot strategy was Auburn University's Office of Health and Promotion and Wellness Services established the It's On Us movement. So it's basically sexual assault bystander intervention training program. A lot of them come to talk to those classes and make sure that we're trained and aware of some of the stuff that's going down on our campus. This was in 2015. Now we're seeing it take another level over the past couple of years, educating each other on issues that may be at hand. So those were, I was going to talk about the benchmarking example after Christian gave his update on benchmarking, but it was basically saying Clemson and Ole Miss and University of Mississippi established a spending transparency resource that shows how fees were allocated. This was in the actual resolution. Therefore, it was asked of the colleges and schools to audit professional fees annually to ensure that fees are spent efficiently. So this was an example of going out and seeing what other universities do to make sure we're being literate on what's going on with our fees and our funds in terms of what's having what we might want to see changed on campus. So that was a quick rundown on a couple resolutions. I think Senator Beatty might have asked me that question, but that was just some research I did in terms of what you can really be working on over this next term. So if anybody has any questions or wants to have more, I had a ton I could have put in here, but those are just some big ones that I saw that we have on our campus at the moment. All right, next question. What is the list of questions to ask constituents to help guide Senate and collect feedback? So these were kind of more specific, like some more on student affairs side in terms of how do you feel about on-campus parking and all that stuff that was asked about earlier. How your experiences living on-campus living. But then it even gets into some and game day experience. But then it gets into specifics in terms of registering for classes, asking your academic affairs committee how students have issues with that. These are some questions you can ask just on a day-to-day basis. Maybe the question's not, maybe they can be specific, but sometimes also be broad so they can just pour into how many questions they have. And then another one was how connected do you feel with advisors or professors? Another academic affairs area, or really just in general how your constituents feel with working with people within your colleges. So these are just some examples, and I have more feedback if you need, but I can also send this out along with the minutes as well. And if you want to have any more questions with resolutions, or even if it's more questions on bills or commendations, just some more examples of that. Box is a great tool. You can honestly go look it up on your own free time as well. But I love looking at that stuff and educating myself. So if you have questions with that, please just let me know, and I'll be free and happy to ask. I think that's it with the questions. Like I said, I'm gonna answer the rest of the ones that we had, and I'll get y'all that information as well. Yeah, so that's all from my end. Do you have any answers?
Yeah, a couple things. I'll just piggyback a little bit on some of those examples. Some of those were things that truly were initiated out of this room, and some others were things that were maybe kind of already happening on campus, either students talking about it or some administrators talking about it, and this room was able to give the ammo to really make those things happen and move forward. So resolutions can look a little bit different. At the end of the day, they're achieving the same thing. You guys representing the entire student body and saying, yes, this is the direction that the students want to go. On that note, it's really encouraging to see Carlos and all of you leading this room in a way that honestly is, from my perspective of doing this for about 8 years, it's encouraging to see the level at which you guys are communicating in this room right now through updates. It's encouraging to see the interaction between you guys and Julianne and the way that she's able to kind of get that information back to you. That's the way that SGA is supposed to work, and it's not the way that it's worked super effectively over the past couple of years. So it's exciting to see that. Thank you for that. But this room of 34 people and more cannot do that in a vacuum. We spot, we've got to be asking those types of questions in your daily lives. Just the person that you're sitting next to in class before class starts, just picking one random question you want to ask them about their experience and bringing that to whomever it applies to, whether that's in Julianne's shop or somebody else's. So great job on that. It's really exciting, and hopefully it's going to lead to you guys being recognized as a contributor to this SGA being the best SGA in the SEC, as we were recognized in 2017. But we had not won the legislation of the year award before. I know that Pearson and Carlos share that desire, and I think you guys may be the room that can pull that off. So thank you for what you're doing. Thanks for letting me come out of retirement tonight while Pearson was busy hanging out with the honor ceremony upstairs. And for anybody that doesn't know, every year we have an honor ceremony where one student and one faculty member from each college and school is recognized as the most outstanding student or faculty member for their school or college. So thanks, Pearson, for coordinating that for the past hour or so. And with that, I'll turn it over in case Pearson's got anything.
Yeah. Real quick, Brad, can I?
Yep. Yep.
How's everyone doing tonight? Wonderful. Honor ceremony was fun. I definitely miss being up here. So similar to what Carlos talked about, with just permanent legislation and things to think about, one thing that I also wanted to share with you all is benchmarking, which I believe as I walked in you were talking about quick. So just to give you all, I'll add all this to box, but just to give you all a super high level overview. When we're doing research on other schools, or before that, when we're meeting with administrators, a question they're going to frequently ask is, talk to me about does this initiative happen at other schools? And so it can be very easy to sometimes find a school which isn't comparable to Auburn, and then try to talk about how they do that there. So what we have here is a list of, these are universities that Auburn considers to be both our peers, schools that we consider ourselves to be similar to, and also aspirant universities, universities that especially academically we one day strive to be like. And so won't explain all of this now to y'all. There is a definitions page within on the last tab here at the bottom, which talks a little bit more about what some of these classifications would taught me. But one thing that's important to know is what a land-grant university is. So Auburn University is a land-grant university, meaning that the point of our existence is to serve the state in which we are located, which is Alabama. And so it's all there's land grants at other states such as Clemson and Florida State. And so a lot of times land grants, because they have similar missions, are going to be very similar in organizational structure to Auburn. And so those are always important ones to be aware of. And then furthermore, as you start to really dive in to these, we have a page on metrics per topic. And so these are just a few quick examples of some things that y'all might be interested in looking at for other schools, areas you're interested in here, and then there's metrics that you need to consider. So if you're looking into something, as you can see at the top of academic affairs, some things you need to consider is their total graduation, or their total enrollment, so the amount of students that go there. Universities that have policies for 5,000 students are going to look a lot differently than universities that have policies for 30,000 students. And so just keeping all of these things in mind. But I'll go ahead and add this spreadsheet to each of y'all's box account, and as I'm coming around to y'all's committee meetings, can expand further upon it. But this is the type of research that we are really hoping to see, and that we think if we're able to successfully implement benchmarking in these ways, that will lead to not just us being able to win SEC legislation of the year, but also to create amazing change on campus. That's all from me. Thanks for letting me show up late.
All right, that was all for my announcements. Now we need y'all to click out with your eye clickers, so if everybody can pick those up and select A. About a second. Is there any other business? Anybody
like people were putting like Auburn Answers Live for like this coming week. So like they would basically do like 2 office hours in the same week, and they would be really fun. So I'm gonna address that next week, and like let it slide this time, but like I'm gonna live it. Well,